For fans to call and say, fire Davey and bring Dusty back, you're just stupid. Because that's never going to happen. It would never. It's impossible.
This is what's happening with with Davey. And blaming Davey. I don't know if you blame him for Bryce Harper not hitting like he's capable of hitting.
Well, he may not be blamed, but he could ultimately be fired after one season if they finish 15 games back, which is what they're on pace
I heard
to
one
do
caller
at this
blaming
point.
the learners, saying the learners don't pay. I'm like, well, maybe they don't pay managers. They pay their players a lot of money. Those guys are all making a lot of money.
Payroll's pretty high.
Payroll is high.
Yeah. They pay plenty. The lineup on paper is better than how they're performing. I think I saw of their starting pitchers, Eric Fetty from his last start where he gave up like a ton of runs, but they scored 17. He's their only starter that has a win in like the last 23 games. Think about that. So Max, Rourke, Gio, all those guys. There's one from their starters.
Yeah. Max hadn't won in a month.
Yeah, I mean this.
But he's been, he's allowed like
they
3
got
runs.
problems everywhere right now.
It just could be one of those years. Things just don't go right.
But I don't know. I'm not going to write them off yet just because there's so many games left. But it certainly looks terrible.
Yeah.
But
It's looking grim at
Well,
this
luckily
point.
the Braves lost their last 2 to the Yankees.
But if you look at
because we could be doing the show right now with them 9 back.
Yeah.
Well, now the Braves they're still on this tough road trip. They swept the Cardinals, but they lost 2 out of 3 in New York. Now they go to Milwaukee, and that won't be easy for them. So maybe if the Nats can find a way to take 3 out of 4 from Miami, and they do it.
The schedule does get softer. We went through it. It feels like a Monday, but we went through it on Tuesday, right? All the times they play the Marlins, and who else do they play?
Pirates and the Mets.
They play a bunch of poos.
But the way they're
second half of
playing,
the season,
they could get beat easy.
Sure.
But if they lose 3 out of 4 to Miami, then it might be over.
Wild card chase at this point.
I think they're more than that, aren't they? Are they only 5.5? Yeah,
5.5
for the second wild card.
It's officially go time for the Nats. Right now it's go time. You said 7-4. I think they need to go like 9-2 in that stretch.
It's tough to ask a team.
I know it's tough with the.
I say
you don't have to get it all back at once.
I say target 7-4 in the next 11.
You don't have to
go.
You don't have to get it all back at once, Cakes. But you got to turn it around.
Yeah, you have to grab the low hanging fruit. And the next few games before the All-Star break, a lot of low hanging fruit out there for the Nats.
I agree.
Maybe right now they're the low hanging fruit.
You go 7-4.
Yeah, but they're not the low hanging fruit to the Marlins.
You go 7-4, and then you get the All-Star break. You get a week off, and then you clear your heads, and then you come back. You play some more poo-poos. Maybe you can start turning it around.
So Adam Eaton said, I think anytime Max holds the meeting or holds court, there's going to be some yelling. In baseball, you don't have that type of intensity all the time, so it's a little different. I think guys gravitate toward that. I think everybody has kind of an intensity bone in their body, and sometimes things need to be said in that fashion.
It's amazing. Since June 1st, this team is 9-20.
Yeah, June has not been a good month.
They have lost 20 of 29 games. That is incredible. And, after the game yesterday, Davey says all the right things. Dave Martinez says all the right things. Sticking by these guys. He believes in them. We're going to turn it around. All the players say the same
Johnny
thing.
Positive, that's for sure.
Yeah, they all say the same thing. They just haven't, done anything about it on the field.
I mean, I haven't looked at the quotes, but I'm sure Matt Williams said similar things the year that they missed the playoffs and ultimately he lost his job.
I bet Dusty said a lot of the right things too. And he got canned after He got canned after 2 years.
In year 1 of a 3-year deal.
That's not what the learners would do. Yeah,
right. I don't even think. How could you blame him? I mean, what has he done? I mean, I know our producer Doug just thinks he's the worst human on earth, but I don't even point to.
But that kind of defense is what you would probably say of every manager. I mean, I'm sure there are tons of things you could point to.
People pointed to Dusty. They didn't like the way he used his lineup.
I know, but I think you could do the same thing with Dave Martinez. The way that he uses his bullpen, the way that he uses his lineup, the way that he left last night. I think it was yesterday's game. I might be mistaken, but Matt Adams, pretty good pinch hitter, was available. Well, he didn't even get to bat because he let Wilmer Defoe bat with runners in scoring position.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you put Matt Adams in and then figure out what you're going to do on the field after? Because if you don't get the runs, there is no defensive adjustment later. I get it. He doesn't trust Daniel Murphy playing second base, so he didn't want to pinch hit for Defoe.
Yeah, and then Matt Adams just came off the DL, so maybe he was kind of, I don't know, just
Well, I think
waiting
also
for the right time
that
for
would
him.
even have been the tying run. I think Adams was representing the tying run where he was.
Adams would have been the tying run.
Right.
Well, tie it and get to extras.
And by the way, if the Lerners and or Rizzo think Davey Martinez is in over his head, I don't see them having a problem firing him after 1 year. He's not making any money. And what did the Nats do? They fire their managers.
Yeah, I'd be shocked.
Stints.
They gave him a 3-year deal, didn't they? They're not going to
fire him
after
money.
1 year.
He doesn't make any money.
I know. I would be surprised.
I'm sure the Lerners don't want to pay people not to work.
Yeah,
I
unless
get it. I understand that.
Unless
but
there's something seriously wrong in the clubhouse and he's not controlling it, then that's one thing. But if they're just going through this rut,